TWM Podcast. Hello and welcome to TWM Talks. I am Matty Deller, and today we look at the final WWE pay-per-view of the decade. Did it live up to that lofty billing? No, it didn't. There's plunder galore as our latest pay-per-view review looks at Tables, Ladders and Chairs 2019. This is a TWM podcast bringing you that hot, spicy wrestling content 6 days a week in all the usual places: Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Acast, Podbean, TuneIn, and wherever else you get your pods, YouTube as well. If you're in the market for some wrestling content, we are brought to you by Squared Circle Box. SquaredCirclebox.com. Use the code TWM News and start off your Christmas/New Year period with some hot wrestling swag. 10% off your first order by using the code TWM News. Alongside me, as we deep dive into last night's offerings, he is the table. It's George Geal. Hello there. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. I'm tired and not looking forward to my evening planned ahead as I play 2 games of football in 3 hours time.
So have you got the classic 5/7/9-a-side thing where a game got cancelled a few weeks ago and you got to play twice today?
No, I play 6-a-side and just decided to chuck 2 games on for the same night player.
I hate it. Did you not do the whole thing of trying to get as many friends in as possible so you could play 2 teams?
No, we don't. We nearly did, and then it's just timing constraints for some people that like work late and that sort of thing. So we normally manage to get a team together of 6 plus 2 subs. But it's just, like I looked on the website, they were like 16th, 23rd and 23rd. I rang them and we're not playing on the 23rd. It's 2 days before Christmas. It's not happening.
I will be drunk at this point. There is no point you even attempting to try and get me to do anything of that note. Well, yes, hopefully we'll see what will be more painful: 2 games of football back to back, or talking about last night's pay-per-view. I'll let you be the judge. Yeah. I brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen. This could be a mercy kill because I think all bar 2 matches and an aspect of 1 match, it's going to be very short and to the point. So you probably could fit this in during a commute. I'll let you know now. Let's start off with the pre-show. The stuff that happened. You had they did a TLC/TMZ video package for Lashley and Rusev. Just fuck off. Just fuck right off. Wherever you are, off you fuck to there, because Then Lana cut a promo that lasted 15,000 millennia, and this did not really start the pay-per-view off in a good ilk, did it, George?
No, it didn't. How has she gone from the promo ability of a CM Punk to the promo ability of a Humberto Carrillo who can barely speak English, or an Andrade who can't speak English? She never makes any sense anymore. I think that kind of might be the reason. I think that's her thing, is she's just so messed up from this whole Lashley being a dick to a new Bay. She's just shouting things. Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like she's thinking, well, if I'd be really annoying, that's good heat, and it's not. It's just
annoying.
Oh, it's just annoying. The Revival called out Harlem Heat on the kickoff show, which was really weird. Really, really weird. But then we get to a match, Humberto Carrillo over Andrade, and this was really, really good. Really, really like this. Good lucha things. Andrade yeets Berto off the top, take control. Carrillo twats Andrade with a drop kick to the face and busts him open, and that's not the first or last time that will happen tonight. It was good. The crowd really got into this, which was impressive to see, especially for a kickoff show match. We got a redo of Monday with Zelina and Andrade nearly running into each other. Then Carrillo hits a top rope poison Rana on the pre-show. Are you serious? And then hits a moonsault for the win. This was a really, really good match. Really, really good match. Good storyline, good action. Yeah, just 10 on 10. Really, really happy with it.
Lucha people doing lucha things.
Yeah, good lucha things occurred. Andrade pushes Zelina Vega away. Now, for me, George, I don't know about you, if this means Zelina Vega is going to wrestle more, then I'm completely okay with them breaking these 2 up.
I'm okay with it. agreeing with you if they do let Zelina wrestle more, but it's if they don't turn Andrade into a cheesy, stupid Mexican babyface. Like, he's so much better as a heel. He's got to stay the dick, and Zelina's very good as a heel.
Yeah, I feel like they won't turn one of them face, because I think they'll just literally split them up and have them on separate, kind of just separate universes, if you will.
Yeah,
maybe. We then open with a TLC edition of the Firefly Funhouse. Bray decorates the ladder. He runs through basically the entire year in retrospective, and they run down all the feuds. Yeah, no, it was pretty good. I like them using the Firefly Funhouse as kind of a narrator for the start of the story, which was really, really nice.
Is that the better version of Facebook? Well, how has your year been?
Yeah, it's one of those. It was the Bray Wyatt version of "This is your year" in Facebook or Spotify Unwrapped, and no one cares. Anyway, we go straight into the opening match, which is the ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. The New Day over the Revival to retain. I thought this was really, really good, George.
I enjoyed it, but I think I would have enjoyed it more without the stipulation, because I don't think it's like the Revival are, like they say, fists, no flips, and it's just really odd to see them in a ladder match stipulation. And it's obviously, yeah, they had a hard hitting, great spots and that sort of thing, but it's just a few things that it was just really annoyed me a little bit. One of them was Dash Wilder's timing on one. I'm being really nitpicky here, I know. There was one timing, and it just annoyed me because the camera showed his face in full view, and it's where he had Kofi on the top rope. Kofi was stood there. There was a ladder balanced in between, and he had to let Kofi go and then get in front of the ladder.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, if you notice it, it's really hard to unnotice it.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I can completely understand how that does get frustrating from time to time. However, there's like two kinds of ladder matches you can have. There is the ladder match where it's a spectacle, high spots, insane stuff, so on and so forth. And then there's the ladder matches which are just like destruction derbies, brutal car. This was the latter. This was less of a Edge and Christian versus the Hardys and more of a Triple H Rock SummerSlam '98, where it's more of a, you're looking at the landings rather than the moves they're doing. It's one of those, because it's something that you have starts off with the Revival taking control, throwing Big E into the steps and Kofi into an LED board. Revival try and throw Kofi into ladder, and he rolls through the bottom and middle rope, which is just,
that was beautiful,
obscenely, ridiculously athletic. But then he tries to slide through the ropes and just gets sandwiched. He tries to basically, they do the spot where they put the ladder up and then they lift it up and he slides under. But instead they just go, no, I'm just going to drop it back down on top of you, which was a really nice spot.
What was good was that they didn't just do it once. They just went, keep going.
Yeah.
And he just sort of flops out.
Then Kofi lucha rolled, like jumped a good 4 or 5 feet in the air, out of a ladder spot, and then springboards onto a ladder, and the ladder came right down onto I think it was like Scott Dawson's knee, so that was really, really concerning. Yes. Don't worry, it's not the first, or again, like with bleeding, that is the first, but it's not the last time someone's knee takes a nasty spill in this match. Big E goes for an apron splash with the ladder underneath and just eats the oh, that looks so nasty.
The timing of Dawson, I watched this, and this is written in slow mo. The timing of Dawson perfectly as Big E's feet leaves the ground. He's like, right, come on, Dash, come here, and like literally Dash's shoulder just leaves a ladder as Big E just it's like well timed.
Big E takes a nasty spill off the ladder, and a lot of people were very going, well, he's just blown his knee out, because he landed very, very kind of unfortunately there, but he seems to be okay. And then he gets cock dropped twice by a ladder. One with a slid into it, the other one with some drop kicks. Kofi then does a rope walk into a seesaw spot, which was great. We get a really cool spot of Big E does the stretch muffler on Dawson, then Kofi ladders him. Then we get the spots really ramp up. You've got Kofi doing the old like a version of the Young Bucks spot, which is falling off a ladder onto the ropes, then bouncing off with a move where he hits a tornado DDT. That was really, really cool. The Shatter Machine off the ladder, which was nice. Big E does the nastiest spear for the ropes I've seen him do in a long time. That was a big boy. Dawson does a superplex on a ladder bridge, which was meant to break, but Big E just grazed it, so he takes the ladder on, like, in the small of his back, the side of the ladder on the small of his back, so
it just about snaps. You can just see it crack ever so slightly.
So then Wilder goes, no, splash through the ladder. Then Kofi yeets himself onto a ladder, stopping the revival. Kofi then belts Dawson. He falls off the ladder. Kofi grabs a swinging belt for the victory. Really, really good. Really, really enjoyed this.
Kofi plus ladders equals money.
Yeah, pretty much. He was the MVP, and a lot of people were like going, WWE, do you see what you have here? You have a guy that can literally, like, turn a crowd on the dime, and just great. Then we go straight into Aleister Black over Buddy Murphy, and I'll let you have the floor for the first few minutes here, because I imagine you're going to verbally spooge over this.
Well, I mean, it starts perfectly with Murphy sat cross-legged in the ring. Aleister Black comes up as usual. Instead of doing it from the side like he usually does, goes round to the front of the ring, springboards over, rolls straight into a cross-legged sit up. I wanted them to do it in New Japan and just each other, but just they did do it. But that was beautiful stuff. Obviously, it was actually a little bit slower paced than I thought it was going to be. It was really fast off the start, but a lot of it was slowing each other down. It was more Buddy trying to use his smart and neutralize the fury.
I think it worked, and they kept it kind of not methodical, but fast methodical. It probably didn't help that Aleister Black got his face destroyed halfway through the match as well.
Yeah, nice ring post spot. I like that.
So yeah, like the sitting in the ring bit was great, and then Black meeting him there was awesome. I love the spot where Black goes to the Black Mass early, and he backs off, and they go straight into the fast play stuff.
It's like he's outside the ring saying, "Come on, Aleister, you silly, you fell for it."
It's just great. Buddy Murphy took Aleister Black's jacket and put it on, which was mistake. Murphy then throws the jacket and hits Jerry Lawler in the face of it, so I expect him to be inducted into the Hall of Fame now.
Yeah. I only had two things to sort of moan about this match, and it was both to do with the commentary team. Lawler's terrible joke of saying Aleister Black's family tatted on his body and his mum on his back, and he just got no response, was fucking hilarious.
Great. The Joe and Vic are just ignoring his awful jokes.
It's so good. The other one was he got a busted nose, and they were saying a lot of the attack was on the jaw, but it seemed they should sort of, like, it was only Lawler that mentioned the nose.
Yeah, I think a lot of them didn't realise that he was, because I didn't realise for a long time that Black was busted open. So I think they were going, he's working over the jaw for the big knee, which made more sense. But then there is the nose. They kind of focus more on the nose. But I didn't notice it at first. And then obviously
I watched it twice. I'm not going to lie. First time round I didn't notice. Second time round I noticed it.
They just did these really, really crisp strikes back and forth. It's so good, like martial arts shit. Murphy takes Black for several trips to a cheeky Nando's. It's a Liger Bomb for a near fall. Kamigoye and a Brainbuster for a near fall. Quick strikes, and then the Black Mass literally from out of nowhere. Just like, boom, spin. Like, it's going to become the new RKO. The fact you can just literally hit that from anywhere. And yeah, no, this was sensational. This was really...
They both have my favourite two finishes in the company at the moment.
I don't like Murphy's Law. I
love Murphy's Law.
I'd rather him use the Kamigoye. I know there's a joke of basically he's stolen all of his moveset from New Japan, but I think the Kamigoye is a much better move for him to use. So,
I think the first one was brilliant. The first time round was just him gobbing off. He was just mouthing off at Black, and was when Black first caught it.
Yeah,
his heel work is he's just such a good heel.
It's just I would have him use the Kamigoye, but great heel. I'm hoping this leads to a push for both men. I'm hoping that both Black and Murphy get a good run in the old Royally Rumble, but we'll see. It's at this point, ladies and gentlemen, that the pay-per-view takes a significant dive in quality. Rusev then cuts a promo saying he's happy Bobby Lashley and Lana plan to get married because then she can pick splinters out of his back after he goes for a table, Rusev Day, etc., etc. Then we see some fans, in air quotes, fans are at ringside eating KFC on a KFC branded table before the next match. Did they suddenly just switch over to Raw?
No, I remember when they used to do this That time fan body splash by Mark Henry to win tickets to SummerSlam.
Yeah, like, and then what? And it showed that wrestling was fake because he immediately got back up again.
Yeah, and then he got a table right at ringside for, I think it was a Divas match, Divas tag match.
Yeah, so basically the equivalent to a Divas match here is a Viking Raiders Open Challenge. Then we get the Viking Raiders Open Challenge. It was the OC. Oh, look, it was the obvious pick.
All right. I was thinking outside the box.
Yeah, but then again, we got a double count out, which I should have seen coming. This was literally every OC and Raiders match, which would be good if it got any time, and it didn't.
And if we hadn't seen it 20 times.
Yeah. So Ivar whiffs the handspring elbow. Gallows breaks up the Viking experience. Eric gets yeeted into the crowd. Ivar bowls OC over. We get a double count out. Lame. The crowd boos it. OC steal the KFC table, so the Raiders obviously put them through it. And the crowd booed Ivar when he threw KFC on the floor, which they should do.
You should, yes, 100%. KFC is the delicacy. I saw someone saying who would actually visit KFC. Everyone in the UK. Right,
if Day, off of Progress Reviews and TWMEs, hears anyone speak ill of KFC, he will come round their house and he will kick their ass.
Sorry, you missed out his other third thing, which is being a commentator for the German announcement.
Oh, no, that's his dad. We decided.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his dad. Who replied, by the way? Old Calvin. Is it Calvin?
Actually,
yeah,
Knee.
Calvin Knee genuinely replied to us, going, "Please stop talking about my son." I have a newfound respect for 1/3 of the WWE German announce team, because I woke up this morning about 5:30 and was very confused why I had a notification from Calvin Kinnear, and I was like, what the hell? And then I was like, oh, he replied back to Day's tweet saying, please stop talking about me and my son, which was great. I'll put it in the little podcast post. Then we get a Miz cutting a face promo on, not facing Wyatt as the Miz, but as a husband, man, and father. It was actually a pretty good face promo, like a really good face promo for the story they're doing.
Yeah, I think Miz is such a hard character to pick, because he is one of the best heels that's ever graced WWE ring, because he's such a despicable. But when he is faced for a reason, he is so good.
This podcast, and indeed all TWM podcasts, are brought to you by SquaredCircleBox.com, the only place for your monthly wrestling box needs. With things from superstars from WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, British Wrestling, Independent Wrestling, and loads more, it is the only place that matters if you want to get the best wrestling swag for a low price. That low price is just £25, people. What a bargain! And you can get snapbacks, t-shirts, magazines, DVDs, trinkets, whatchamacallit, doodads, you name it, they have it each and every month. And just because you listen to TWM, you sexy people, you get 10% off your first order. All you got to do is use the code TWM News in the checkout. Just use the code TWM News in the checkout for 10% off your first order at SquaredCircleBox.com.
I said, why not spread the gospel of the TWM squad with some of our lovely merch over at Teespring? We have t-shirts for all shapes and sizes, hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and loads more. Also, just for listening to this podcast, you can get 10% off your order. I said using the code podcast. That's podcast. Once again, podcast in the checkout for 10% off at teespring.com/stores/TWM-wrestling-merch. That's right. Praise. Testify.
Question: how do you make a tables, ladders, and chairs match quite dull. Answer: King Corbin over Roman Reigns. How, like, we have 2 TLC matches tonight, and I honestly think that this pay-per-view had the unique ability of having, and I don't want to be negative, like I always said that I always want to, because I'm going to laugh at this, I laugh at stuff when it's bad, but I am going to say I think these are tonight we have the 2 worst TLC matches ever. The second one, at least there's a reason why it fell apart. This one had no excuse.
No.
So Reigns...
Well, I mean, Baron Corbin was in it.
Baron Corbin's good. This just didn't work. Reigns murdered Corbin's security and then punched Corbin in the face to start the match. I just love watching Roman Reigns punch people because his punches are so good. Corbin gingerly hit Reigns with a ladder, and then Reigns fought back, and then Corbin hit him in the head with a can of dog food, which I imagine would hurt. And also, you can't argue that they are not consistent with this story of lol big dog / dog food.
Yeah, they've stuck at the dog food bit. The only thing is they've stuck at the worst bit.
Yeah, like, just wear the dog, use dog collars, use something a bit more thing than fucking win a lot. Corbin clears both announce tables, so Roman Samoan drops him off one through the other. Reigns goes for a spear, but then Ziggler hits a lovely super kick. I will give him that. Corbin and Ziggler then batter a stagehand, so are about to pedigree chum him, but then Roman Reigns hits a double drive-by. The lackeys rise again, and Roman sends them packing. The Revival attacked. I said this on the predictions last on Sunday night on Twitch. I said the Revival would turn up. They fought them off, and then we get the Taker dive. Ziggler then yeets a chair right into Roman's face. Like, I can imagine either he's not in the Rumble now because I imagine Vince is going to be fucking fuming that he threw a chair face first into Roman's face. Or he got a bollocking from someone backstage for doing that, because there's no way that was okay that he could throw the chair directly into Roman's face.
Last time someone got hit in the head with a chair was seen 10 years ago. And
was that the Triple H Undertaker one where they both got fined like got fined like 250 grand or something ridiculous like that?
It might have been. I thought I'd seen it all.
Oh, it might be that as well. We get a shower machine, end of days on a chair for the win. This was really fucking meh.
This match pinpoints one reason why I cannot get behind the Revival, because they are a phenomenal tag team. Absolutely brilliant. Documented earlier in the day early in the night with the match between them and the Revival. Them and the New Day. Then they are just lackeys for other people they are better than.
I think they had a good thing going when they were teaming with Orton.
Yes, that was like
they should have kept that going, and now they're just going to be like Bannerman for King Corbin, and it makes them seem less than, and I don't like it. Anyway, Bray Wyatt over the Miz. Don't know if you caught this, but the ref looked like he forgot it wasn't a title match, so the camera cut away as he showed Miz the belt, and then I'm pretty sure Miz went, "It's not a title match, mate." So you had to like quietly just put the belt away. He's like, "I know, I'm just showing you the championship."
I absolutely loved Wyatt's entrance.
Oh, like,
so good.
I'm going to say this now. The match itself is crap, but it wasn't about...
I actually enjoyed the match.
It wasn't about the match. It was about the story. Like, there was not a match. It was Miz battering Bray Wyatt and then Bray Wyatt hitting 2 moves and winning. But the match was secondary for this bit. It was completely secondary.
It was just him coming out full Firefly Funhouse, the full edition. So we're really glad that you are friends. Comes out clapping, swaying, everyone high-fiving, walks around the entire ring, gets in the ring, comes back out again, gets in, comes back out again.
Proper just milking it for all it's worth. I love it. Like,
it's so good.
And then what I loved is that Miz then battered him. And I imagine, I've not seen the Twitter reaction. I imagine people are like, "Oh, Miz is just beating up Bray Wyatt. What's the point of this?" No. This Bray Wyatt should only use violence as a last resort. Yeah,
he's a passive person. He said to him, but you could hear him going, "Are you good at it now?"
Yeah, like he's proper like a social worker, like going, "Let it all out, let this all out." And White just keeps laughing as Miz battered him. The spot that I loved is Miz breaking out it's the Pentagon Junior arm break, but like breaking out Daniel Bryan, like trying to snap his shoulder. Wyatt rolling out the ring, laughing and running into the back. That was like old school Mankind. I love that. So good. My other favourite spot was it's a little bit like, I think it could become gift worthy if he done it differently. It's when Miz hits is one of his best moves he does in the
running clothesline where he sits on the middle rope.
Yeah.
Into the corner, and Wyatt just grabs him and drags him into the middle of the ring to hit Sister Abigail. If he'd done like a proper like a take Lesnar when they sat up and sort of stared and laughed at each other.
Yeah.
If he'd done that, sort of just his head pop up and he started laughing, then dragged him, that would have made it fantastic. But it was just that of Miz sort of sat there, and then instantly Bray just grabs him, pulls him.
The old like Jason spot. I just go, he's dead. Yeah. No, he's not. And then like he hits the Sister Abigail off the barrier, then while in the ring. Like I said, the character thing, they did it brilliantly. Not perfectly. They did it brilliantly. The match was crap, but it didn't matter.
That barrier, Sister Abigail, needs to be used more.
That needs to be an OMG movie if they ever put any more money other than £5 into 2K games in the future. That was a really, really cool move. I like that. So, part of me hoped, because he had him held. I thought he was going to do it where he like swung him around into the barricade, but it was still really, really cool. Post match, the Fiend appears on the screen, so Bray's like, "Let me in. Do we let him in? I'll let him in." And he pulls out the big Harley Quinn mallet, and the lights start going out, and Bray like marks out, thinking the Fiend is coming, and I love.
It's so good.
And I love that Bray is he doesn't realise that they are the same person. That's the best. Or he's great at sorry to interrupt. He's great at that he wants everyone to believe that he thinks that, when in reality he knows that he's the Fiend. It's just everything about this was clearly written by Bray Wyatt because it's so well done.
It's just incredible.
Yeah. The lights start going out, but then a hooded figure knees Wyatt. It's not Ring of Honor, Daniel Bryan. It's
2012.
It's 10-year challenge, Daniel Bryan, as I believe James Konkowski called it on What Happened in WWE last week. You can go check that out right now, by the way, at twm.news.
I'm pretty sure WWE put out a tweet saying Daniel Bryan in 2010, Daniel Bryan in 2019.
Yeah, like literally, he looks exactly the same. And like he beats him up, like gives him another knee, goes for the hammer, but the lights out, and then Wyatt was gone. I was really confused why then. I thought he was going to smash the belt with the hammer.
I thought he was as well.
But he just hit the ring and then celebrated. It was really odd. Really odd.
What I would have loved to have seen a little bit more there would have been the lights to go out again, come back and the belt's gone, and it's like Bray coming back for a toy.
I would have loved that. Or maybe they come out and like the dolls replace the belt or something. Just I really, it's really cool. I want them to somehow try. I don't know how they could do it. That maybe, I don't know, like elimination. We end up getting a match which is Miz and Daniel Bryan against Bray Wyatt and the Fiend.
What, be like Vince McMahon and God?
Like they do something. They do this how like maybe like Bray keeps like just keeps getting driven to the back, and they keep like something like that. I just really hope they try and do a tag match with it, because I feel like it'd be fascinating.
I think the best way for them to do it would be, I think the way they would do it was the lights go out every 5 minutes.
Yeah, but imagine trying to do the costume changes for Bray Wyatt. Jesus Christ. We then go into the tables match, which is Bobby Lashley over Rusev. Jerry Lawler said that Lana's mugshot is being used as currency in the Knoxville jail they were in. Yikes. Yeah, remember Jim Cornette, Jim Ross. You're the last old bastard standing. Don't risk it, Lawler. You've risked it once before and you ended up in jail. Rusev went for a table. Lana denied him. Rusev went to drop Lashley for a table. Lashley flipped it over, which is actually quite a nice little spot. Lashley drove Rusev for a guardrail, used a kendo stick. Rusev fought back with the kendo and a match kick. Lana rakes Rusev's eyes, and in a move that sums this feud up, Lashley goes for the spear, but the table didn't break, so he just went, screw it, and suplexed him through another table anyway. This match was not very good.
This feud is not very good.
No, and this match just was, there. It happened, and it's still going on because Lashley won. A Street Profits segment was interrupted by loads of people brawling for reasons, and the Street Profits joined in for reasons. Right, let's talk about this main event, shall we?
Yeah.
Women's tag team titles, tables, ladders and chairs. The Kabuki Warriors over Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch.
But before you get into it, can I also just say that last year's triple threat TLC match between Becky, Charlotte and Asuka was one of my favourite TLC matches that they've done in a while. How adding Kairi Sane has gone so bad.
It's just, this match was a complete mess. It's probably due to Kairi Sane getting rocked with a concussion.
Yeah.
Like, I think I know roughly where it happened. I don't know if anyone
trying to find it. I couldn't find it.
I feel like maybe she goes. When they've got she goes for the inside elbow off the apron onto Becky and Charlotte on the table. She jumps and kind of like goes down, and I think she slips on a chair.
Yeah.
If you watch the match back, if you get a chance to watch the match back, they both lay on a table, and she goes for the insane elbow, and she goes down, and I think she's meant to hit the elbow, and maybe they're both meant to move or something, or maybe she's meant to hit it on one of them, and her legs go down, and instead of her hitting the table, her legs hit a chair, and the chair basically skateboards from underneath her, because all you hear is a very loud clang as she hits the floor, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? Like, and she just goes to the floor, and no one gets hit with a move, and it's a bit awkward. And I feel like maybe she's slipped and maybe wanged her head on the way down.
Sounds about right.
Maybe, I'm not sure. But then what happened? Because I didn't realise she was concussed for the longest time, because then we got a lot of blown spots, a lot of Kairi Sane running away from chair shots, which was like it looks really weak, because like she had to basically then get hit with the lightest chair shots, because Lynch and Flair didn't clock until very, very late on that she was messed up. So every time they were going for a chair shot, Kairi Sane was literally just running away from them, which is probably the sensible thing to do.
Well, it's your character work of her just to be significantly healed, of trying to avoid.
Yeah, it's just one of those. It's one of those things. Then basically Charlotte shoot power bombs Kairi Sane for a table.
Charlotte.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it was a safe shoot power bomb, I will say. It seemed okay, and I think it took her out of the match. But then Asuka immediately picked her up and was like, right, we need to do spots. It's like, no, leave her alone. Charlotte got powerbombed through a table and hit her head pretty bad as well. They did a spot earlier on, by the way, which I like, where they tied Becky Lynch to the ladder.
Yes, that was good.
And which was really, really cool. And then she got left there for ages. They tried to do the insane elbow, and she got her knees up. That was cool. That was okay. But then the rope came back into play as Becky climbed the ladder. Asuka pulled the rope and jerked her off. She got up and got the belts. The crowd were booing a lot in this match. A lot of people were annoyed. This match was not good. But like we said, this probably was one of the worst TLC matches I've ever watched. But unlike Corbin and Reigns, this was not their fault. This kind of fell apart because of the injury.
They had something above the ring as well, which is what you meant to have a TLC match.
Yeah, as well.
I like when Becky did clock. You can see pictures of her talking to Kairi. I think Becky's laying on the floor on the table. Kairi's laying on the floor, and she's just sort of like, "Hey, you're right."
Yeah, the thing is, I can't imagine having a concussion and then also English being your second language, and you're doing a primary, like Kairi's English is still decent, but it's still a second language, and then trying to convey with a concussion in your second language that you've got a concussion, I imagine is nigh on impossible.
I think if it was me in that situation, I'd just point on my head like this.
This ow, like pain, yes. Yeah, it's a shame. It is a real shame. Asuka was celebrating, but screw that. Men are fighting on the, which was a really weird ending to the pay-per-view. Roman spears Baron Corbin, whatever, into the pile as this mess ends, and that was TLC. I told you it'd be a mercy kill. Like, it's just gone half an hour. It's like, do you mind if I go first on my thoughts and grades?
What, it would be the same.
Honestly, if you could afford it, what I would do is I would sit down with some snacks, fast forward the kickoff show until Humberto Carrillo and Andrade, watch that, watch the main show, watch the ladder match, watch Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black, turn off WWE TLC, go on to the next tab, fire up Fight TV, go and pay some cashola for NWA Into the Fire. That's 2.5 hours, exact same amount of time that would have been for the rest of that pay-per-view, and watch that instead. Because honestly, watch the first 45 minutes of the main show and that one match from the pre-show. Nothing else. You are not missing. At best, you are not missing anything. At worst, you are avoiding two of the worst TLC matches ever. One, obviously, not by design, but one of them was just because it was incredibly badly booked and really boring.
I echo those sentiments. However, I would say at some point, Bray Wyatt.
The Bray Wyatt thing, yeah. Like, clock that on YouTube.
The match wasn't, like say, Matt says, the match wasn't fantastic. It was just The Miz attacking a pacifist, thank you. Pacifist version of Bray Wyatt. He didn't want to attack back. Daniel Bryan comes back. It's good stuff. Very good story work. However, what was really funny for that bit was he hits a running knee. Who else does a running knee in No one. We can clearly see it's Daniel Bryan from the camera chanting yes, and Michael Cole still goes. Could it be?
Could it be? We can see his face. You could literally see half his face. I'm giving this D-, and I feel that's generous. Like,
yeah, I'd agree with you.
Like, you got to think about it. It's getting, I don't know, how many matches do we have? 7, 8 matches, and it's got 8 matches, and it's getting a 3.5 out of 8, so half marks. So it's close to a C, but not yet. So, what do you think?
I'd go with the D+ as well. There, you get a point for and point for the New Day and the Revival. You get a point and a half for Buddy Murphy. No, you get a point for Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black, and then half point for the story work of Bray Wyatt. I agree with that.
Yeah, what a way to end the decade for WWE.
The Royal Rumble's better.
Let's hope the Royal Rumble is indeed better. If you want to get in touch with us, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all at TWM Wrestle. Subscribe to us, Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Acast, YouTube, Podbean, all that good stuff. TWM.news, you can go read Bradley, our new writer Bradley, his review of TLC. You can go read James Klonkowski's What Happened Last Week in WWE. We've also got the first episode of the TWMEs that is out right now for you to go download. And if you heard on Twitch, we are doing a massive Christmas competition. More details will be revealed later in the week. If you want to go check that out, go listen back to our Twitch stream. I think I'll put a clip up on Twitter today or tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. George, social media.
At George_Geal_.
Lovely stuff. You enjoy your footballs today, and don't pull a hammy and score a goal.
I will try.
I am at Matty ID. We are at TWM Wrestle. That was TLC. It wasn't great, if we're brutally honest, but hey, there are some small things to pick out of it, so enjoy that if you can. You'll catch me on Wednesday on the Indie Wrestling Show. You catch George on Thursday for the Wednesday Night War. Listen to all of our podcasts if you can. Leave a rating and review. Thank you for downloading, thank you for streaming, and hopefully you'll hear from us again very, very soon.